Good morning. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. Are there trial lawyers in the room or what? This is incredible. It's as if I'm the closing band at a concert and the Rolling Stones and the Beatles have left the stage. Absolutely incredible. And I want to say on a personal note that when I'm grinding away late at night on cases, it's these cases and lawyers that are a real inspiration to me. All of you are fabulous. You're carrying on the right fight here. Let me tell you a little about this case. I have the honor and the privilege to present the case of Isabella Sanchez versus the Durham School Services Corporation. There were some real courageous lawyers involved in this case, and I would like each of them to stand. Jeff Wells, Christina Nickerson, and Andy Basseri. And this case was tried to a jury before the Honorable John Pacheco in San Bernardino County. To say this case was difficult is an understatement, a gross understatement. This case had factual, legal, complex issues abound. It permeated the whole litigation for several years. You had such issues as governmental immunities, and as you folks know that handle those cases, those are difficult to deal with. You had accusations of parental negligence. You had a car that hurt this sweet little girl with a minimum policy. And you always had this issue of apportionment, which is a very nuanced issue to deal with in any trial. The Sanchez family was in desperation. They were a family in crisis. They had beautiful Isabella with a horrific brain injury that has left her cognitively and physically disabled, requiring 24-hour attentive care. So here's this modest family in crisis. I submit to you folks, as you'll hear, that if the Sanchez family went to 100 lawyers, 99 of them, including me, would have passed on this case. Here are the basic facts. The San Bernardino Unified School District outsources its transportation services to Durham School Services. Isabella, at the time of this incident, was a beautiful 6-year-old first grader who was dependent on transportations by the school district. The custom and practice was that her mother, family friend, or neighbor would walk Isabella to this bus stop. On the day of the incident, Isabella and her grandmother were about half a block away from this bus stop. The bus stop was there, waiting with flashing yellow lights to board the children. Seeing that the bus was at the stop, Isabella got very excited, left the grasp of her grandmother, and ran into the street mid-block. A car traveling 35 to 40 miles an hour came upon her, struck her, threw her in the air, threw her for over 50 feet, resulting in devastating injuries. Serious incident, so the sheriff calls the major accident investigation team out. It's the equivalent of the CHP MATE. They go out and do a several months long investigation. They interview every witness at the scene. They spoke to school personnel, and they spoke to the driver of this bus. After several months of investigation, and they did laser surveys, they downloaded the EDR of the Subaru that hit Isabella, and they came to this conclusion. Based on the statements and physical evidence at the scene, Isabella Sanchez caused this collision. I mean, this is one obstacle after another for this very courageous group of lawyers. They filed the lawsuit knowing what the basic facts were at the time. And what these lawyers did is they canvassed the neighborhood. They went door to door knocking, and asking people about the kids that travel on this roadway. Do they cross mid-block? Do they follow the stop signs? Do they cross at the crosswalk? And what they found after weeks and weeks of interviews and investigation is that it was common. It was commonplace that children going to this particular bus stop cross mid-block. This led to a very contentious round of discovery. Jeff and his team deposed many San Bernardino, USD corporate representatives. They deposed countless Durham school corporate representatives, and it went on and on. They had to go through thousands of documents, but they did the one smart thing. They went to the website of the Durham School Services Corporation and found some interesting information. Other than bragging about safety being their #1 priority, it was learned in a very obscure way that they had the duty to alert the school if there were children misbehaving. Prior to trial, the judge granted summary judgment in favor of the school district. The trial took 5 weeks and resulted in a verdict of over $32 million. These are the astonishing results. 80% of liability was apportioned to Durham, and the driver was held zero liable for this. As a result, over $24 million would be available for this beautiful young girl. As you know, parents in that situation are constantly worrying about who's going to take care of my little girl when I am gone. The importance of the case are these. Durham transports over 1 million kids daily. It serves over 400 school districts in 32 states. Presently, 30% of all school districts are outsourcing transportation. Being my first sponsorship and presentation, I spoke to the trial judge. And the trial judge said this: as a result of this lawsuit, the bus stop has now been changed to the other side of the street, and Durham forbids children from crossing any street in front of the bus. The judge went on to say, in his humble opinion, Mr. Wells is one of the best lawyers that has ever appeared in my courtroom. The defense lawyers were just as complimentary. In terms of service with the CAOC, you know the legendary activity of Jeff. He's been a board member, an officer, and has helped this organization financially. Given the difficult facts of this case and the issues, I think they deserve this prestigious award. Thank you.